What's good, world? Welcome to the first episode, Question Everything podcast. We live, we lit. Long time coming. Hella people been doing podcasts. Podcasts have been on the rise for years now. So I figured being in the industry, being an artist, having a lot of thoughts and opinions on hip hop, especially, I needed to go ahead and get a platform. I am gonna question everything, though. You know what I'm saying? It's a wide variety of topics. Hella music, lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to have experts in here. Like whatever field we're talking about, I'll be interviewing. Like I already got an episode recorded for this that I just did in Charleston. Shouts out to my guy Noah Brockett. He's a professional blind comedian. That was lit. That's like a whole extra other side of the world of entertainment that I hadn't really been in too much. So we did an episode about comedy and blindness and traveling as a blind person. If you don't know I'm blind, you probably figured that out by this voice that you hear in the background sometimes. That is a screen reader. So it talks to me, you know what I'm saying? Let me know what's going on in YouTube or wherever I'm at. I got one on my phone too. That's another thing. I'm recording this one live and I'm gonna leave it up for the super fans. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna cut it down. I have no idea how long I'm gonna be here. I'm about to just talk a lot of mad shit and check in on the chat every so often. Definitely want to know what y'all been listening to this year. What albums have been in your rotation? This has been one of the biggest years for hip hop this whole decade. This year feels long as hell, actually. Like if we go back to January, it really didn't seem like this was going to be this type of year. I would not have expected the trajectory that we've been on as far as beef, icons dropping. You know, we just had Ice Cube drop. Snoop Dogg just dropped the project. He's trying to like bring Death Row back and shit. I mean, the obvious, right? Kendrick and Drake beefing. We already kind of covered that on the channel. Big up everybody who saw that video too, by the way, and showed mad love and support, because this beef has kind of been the catalyst for this podcast to just hurry up and come out, because like I said, this year is just so huge for hip hop. And so I've been telling all my bros, like everybody in the game, I'm like, this is the time to put out music. Like, you know, I dropped an album this year. Dropped a couple of things this year, actually. And I got some more shit coming. BNF 8 on the way. You know, I usually give everybody a Christmas gift. I say a fucking lot. So that's coming with the guys from Blind and Famous. And that's always still mixtape era vibes, you know what I'm saying? So taking it back to the streets on that shit. We just gonna drop it on YouTube. And then we finna do BNF the album. This is the first place I'm saying it publicly. But y'all get the exclusive, you know what I mean? Like, we about to book a B&B and just go crazy and put a whole actual project together for all the services, because Blind and Famous got a lot of fans on YouTube. People just being like, why are y'all not dropping your shit on Spotify? Like, what's going on with that? So that's coming. But yeah, so the year started off and eventually we end up getting Like That on the We Don't Trust You project. I think that was in March or something like that. So a full quarter into the year almost. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is February or March. And Like That was a bomb. If you don't know about that jam, it's Future and Metro featuring Kendrick. And he started kind of replying to the subs that Drake has been throwing, because he put out the jam with J. Cole, First Person Shooter, at the end of last year. And he's saying, you know, we the Super Bowl, we the big three, Drake, Cole, and Kendrick. We the Super Bowl, which is very ironic now. And a lot of people speculated about this beef, and they said shit like, oh, this was staged and it was behind the scenes, a lot of talk and marketing. There was a whole campaign put together. And I really strongly believe that could be possible after seeing Kendrick get the Super Bowl after like the results of the beef. It's like, part of me almost thinks that was supposed to go to Drake, because he was the biggest artist in the world for the last decade. Like, the tide is turning, I think. I don't know about public opinion, but from where I sit, to me, it looks like the game at large is rocking with Kendrick. On this new album that he has, he's boasting like that too. He's talking his shit. He's saying, I am the king. Ain't nobody in this rap. You know, he took the line. I think it was Jay who said that shit first. I could be wrong. Big up my brother Blank Thought, man. Showing us love on X right now, or Twitter. I still call that shit Twitter, bro. For real. But yeah, ain't no other kings in this rap thing. They siblings. They all my children. So he basically just saying like, ain't nobody at my level. There's nobody close to me. So the game is really rocking with Kendrick. It's hard for me to do a timeline because there's so much shit that I want to just get to right away. Like, this album is the hot thing, I'm gonna just try to break it down quickly. So like that comes out, Kendrick's talking his shit. You know, he's talking big, like, yo, fuck the big three. It's just me. It's a lot of quotables in that jam. You could go and listen to it if you haven't somehow. It's like one of the best diss tracks that we've gotten in the past decade for sure. I don't know about like best of all time, but it's defo like top 10 diss tracks, I would say. Because it's a club banger, but then Kendrick just comes in and kind of heats up the whole conversation, lets everybody know it's on a different time, and like, yeah, you can move around to this, you can dance to this, shake your ass, but we about to go crazy. I gotta talk my shit, let people know there's nobody close. So Drake comes back with push-ups, and he starts sort of acknowledging everything. He's like, yo, what is this, a 20v1? Like, Metro, shut your whole ass up and make some drums, nigga. Metro was throwing shots at Drake on the album. Future throwing shots at Drake. They got A$AP Rocky on the album throwing shots. So there's a lot of rappers that sort of teamed up and was just like, nah, I'm not going for the shit that Drake's been doing lately. Drake been too petty. Like, the thing in the industry that they kind of say on the blogs and that everybody's been getting at, and Drake even says it himself, like, he be fucking too many people girls, bro. Like, the whole industry is mad at him because he be moving weird, bro. He be moving shaky. So, you know, it's like, you cannot be doing that type of shit and just expect to maintain the same type of relationships. Like, he did that shit to Wayne. You kind of understand why after so long, once there's a crack in the armor, people gonna start to look at you a little different and do what they can to get you the fuck up out of there. Oh, he took the first shot at Kendrick's wife on that song. He's like, you know, I might have to hit Whitney or some shit like that. I'll be with the bodyguards like Whitney. And so at that point, it kind of turned deadly as fuck. Like, Kendrick put out Meet the Grams. Meet the Grams was like a huge punch because he starts talking about Drake having this alleged fake daughter that nobody knows about, which I don't know if that was true. And Drake comes back to that song saying, we giving you fake information and you believed it, like you fell for it. I think it was the Hard Part 6 that Drake did. And Kendrick just actually made another Hard Part 6 that's fire on the album, so we're gonna get to that. But Drake put out this like 3-pack. I'm trying to remember the name of that fucking song. It's where he's like, Kendrick just opened his mouth. Somebody go hand him a Grammy right now. And then the beat switches to like this drill joint. And then at the end, it's the one that we fucking reacted to on the channel a little bit ago. Somebody gonna know what I mean in the comments. But Drake's basically just begging Kendrick to keep dropping. He's like, oh, you had all this smoke, you talking. And actually that was the precursor to Meet the Grams. So this three-pack kind of switch up song drops from Drake. And then afterwards, that's when Meet the Grams comes out. It's kind of a bomb. And then, what was that shit called? It sounded kind of similar to Watch the Party Die. There's like so many fucking songs that were done throughout the beef. Then we get to like the super bomb of the summer. Drake did a real lame ass move actually first with Tailor Made Freestyle. Tailor Made Freestyle, he decided to use AI to rap as other rappers. And it's just, that shit's weird to me. I've seen people doing it like as a parody on YouTube a lot. That shit's been hilarious. Like, oh, what if Kanye got on Today Was a Good Day by Ice Cube? Or what if they had, you know, the characters from SpongeBob rapping, or just different shit. It'd be funny, but for an artist to actually do that seriously was really strange because these people are not speaking for themselves in this case. Like, in one case, like, Tupac is dead. You know, he's not even here to sign off on what you're saying or verify that he even rock with the shit. So it was just real cornball vibes to me on that. It was giving real weirdo energy. And then he had Snoop also as an AI on there. The accent was pretty accurate for Snoop, I ain't gonna lie. Like, you could really tell that it was Drake rapping as Pac when he did Tupac AI. Like, it was a Drake cadence in Tupac's voice, which as a fan, that was like dope to hear technically, but to Pac's legacy, that shit was really weird because the way he was rapping, I don't really feel like Pac would have rapped the same way. Big up everybody who's in the stream right now, man. Put something in the chat. Let me know that you rocking with this, man. Also, join the conversation. What has been your favorite song this year, your favorite album? What you jamming, man? Talk to me. Let me know what's goody. Yo, real quick post edit. Actually, I was in LA when Tailor Made Freestyle dropped, and it was just weird as fuck to be in LA hearing new Pac on the radio and being able to tell that it was AI. And it was just surprising too that radio even picked up an AI jam, honestly. Yeah, so Tailor Made Freestyle, and then Kendrick just decided to fuck up the entire club, every performance, every party, everywhere with these famous 4 words, "They not like us." And when that happened, basically the shit was over. Like that was the beef ender for me. But Drake was still posting a whole lot of shit up online, trolling. All right, another edit because this happened like right after I recorded. Drake just dropped a fucking lawsuit or a legal petition or some type of shit against UMG for promoting and payola of Not Like Us. And if the beef wasn't over already, like anybody who didn't think the beef was over is defo saying it's over now. Like a lot of people are like, oh, Drake definitely lost the battle. I feel like he lost the battle months ago. But this is like sealing the fate. Honestly, the internet is calling him the new Ja Rule. It's fucked. Like that, it might be a stretch, but I'm just here to tell you what the streets is saying. Everybody's kind of been expectant of a Kendrick project. They're like, okay, he's got a lot of singles out. He's back dropping steadily crazy this year. This has been the most prolific we've seen Kendrick in a few years. Like he doesn't drop this often all the time. But it's been a good year like that. It's a lot of projects that have come out from other people. The Tyler Project, Maxo Cream, Corday. So we're going to get to a few of those. I haven't even listened to everything that's dropped yet. So, we'll have more episodes about that shit. We could deep dive. But yeah, Not Like Us just shook the whole scene up, changed everything. To this day, that record is still like a hit anywhere you go. It has lost a little bit of the replay value for me. Like I'm to the point where like I hear it and you already kind of know every line. You know what part everybody's going to say. Like it's that meme ability is not the same. But that's just how the cycle of music goes. That's not to take anything away from the record. If you play it in even a few months or even in the right situation right now, it's still going to go up. It's going to age well. I think that's another record that's going to be top 10, top 15 diss records. Kendrick is really making legacy plays right now as far as the superstar thing goes. I feel like he was slighted for a while. Like, I don't want to call it jealousy, but there's a lot of emotion in the diss records that he did. Like, I hate the way that you talk, the way that you act, the way that you dress. Like that's a whole extra one. Kendrick gave us a 3-pack.
Euphoria.
And big up to Cardo and Johnny Giuliano because they produced on that, man. And I've been studying them guys for like a decade, 15 years type shit, man. Like from the SoundClick era, from the early Wiz Khalifa era. And that's a big one. That's a life changer. Getting a Kenny record like that that's so heavily streamed and such a part of the beef. Like that one is also going to go down in history, in my opinion. So yeah, big up to them guys, man. Big up everybody involved with that. Not Like Us. It kind of got quiet for a minute. Drake knew to kind of shut up as far as music goes. So many jabs, so many shots to Drake's persona and to who he is as an artist and as a person. Like he attacked his career, he attacked his choices. You know what I'm saying? So Drake had to, even if he didn't want to admit it, he had to back up and breathe. Just a little. He takes to posting on social media all these memes and parodies, and then there was something that as a fan I actually really enjoyed. People tried to shit on him for it, like it was a bad move, but I think it helped him out, which was the 100 gigs for your head top, which is like literally 100 gigs or more of video content that Drake dropped on YouTube, and it was fire. It's like all this different behind the scenes footage of his different eras that he was in. So recording Take Care, recording I think even some of Thank Me Later. Like there's a verse in there that he referenced for Ye on one of Ye's like recent albums. He had a beat to one of Big Sean's jams. So there's like all these moments that you see, and especially as an artist, I'm like, yo, like this is a crazy inside look at the industry that I'm in. So I'm like hella able to relate and just look at them moments like, yeah, this is the type of shit that I'm doing and that I want to do. These are the places that I want to be in. I see myself here. So he was, and I think that was the point. Like a commenter said, like, oh, look at Drake trying to, get back in people's good graces by showing the humble side or showing the beginnings. But that's what you got to do sometimes, like, especially if you truly take that moment to like actually humble yourself and really be accountable and be like, all right, I have to rethink. I got to re-strategize, pivot. Because you're not going to win everything. Drake has been the poster child of success for a decade. So I'm sure that can get like, there is a rapper named Andy Mineo, and he had this jam that was like all about getting too comfortable, getting too far into luxury. Like comfort could be a silent killer. If you get too used to having everything that you want or doing everything the right way, like you get in a pattern of like just expecting shit. So you have to stay learning shit, stay adapting. Especially in music, like shit changes. In rap these days, like every 3 years, there's some new shit going on, some new shit to be aware of. So you gotta just stay up on that. If you're watching this on YouTube right now and you feeling anything that I'm saying during this pod, make sure you give this video a like. Subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 1K right now. Hey, first 1,000. You got to start somewhere. So we're on the road to 1K. Road to 1K by May. That's the goal. So yeah, Drake backed off for a while. And then we got Watch the Party Die, which is kind of addressing, in my opinion, all the Diddy shit that's going on. All the allegations and proof and revelations on people like Diddy in the industry and Diddy himself getting locked up right now. Like, Kendrick is like kind of taking a stand and letting everybody know we need to bring hip hop back more to like a pure place because it's too much partying going on. Like, and of course everything is a balance. You got to have your space to get lit. But like Kendrick is really standing up for that conscious corner of hip hop, I feel like, and trying to put that in the mainstream. Shout to D1. Kendrick's been giving a lot of people light. You know what I'm saying? Like Lecrae, he put a light on Lecrae. And then Lecrae recently came out and made a couple of records that was fire. And big up Lecrae too, man. You know, I had a chance to run into him at an event not too long ago, and he's, you know, real humble dude, real chill dude. So, you know, just seeing people like that get a platform that they might not have had otherwise is always dope. Like as an artist, you want to see the people that you rock with get bigged up by the titans that are like blazing right now as far as exposure goes. So Kendrick being that superstar and shining this light. He did that on the album too, but he hid the features. The new Kendrick album is like the capital point of this talk right now. So yeah, Watch the Party Die. Kendrick is not jabbing at Drake as heavily, but like Drake is kind of caught up in the party scene in a heavy way. So he catches strays intentionally by proxy of that. So that happens. The world reacts. Lecrae responds. I still want to know what those redacted lyrics were that he was talking about. There's like this line that's completely bleeped out of the last version. And I don't know why that is becoming a thing. That was done in this new album as well a couple times. Like I think on the intro, there's a line that's just completely missing. And I don't know if that's just like for the legend of Kendrick, for the fans to go and find in a few years. There's like a leak to the internet where they finally get to see it. Or I don't know. Redditors though, man, the Redditors are crazy. They'll probably find that shit in 5 hours. You go to the right places if you know where to look. Somebody gotta key me in, man. I'm trying to figure that shit out. So yeah, we basically in the timeline of the beef are pretty current. I went to eat today at this new spot over here in the neighborhood, like in Hateville type shit. And I came back and like just saw a random notification on YouTube from Kendrick for this jam called TV Off. I don't know if that's the single he's going with or if it's just like that's the random one that popped up out of the album for me, but that's the first one I heard. So then I just looked at the comments because like it's culture shifts so weird now. It's so common, like everybody just opens the comments while you're watching something. So there's these people who may have like a certain joke or they point out, you know, the most popping line in the song, and you're just experiencing the record together. You're experiencing whatever it is you're watching, and you looking at these people's comments, like you probably commenting as you seeing it for the first time. And it's like a virtual party, low-key. Like some people got really trash ass comment sections. They be trolling like hell. There's just be a bunch of bullshit. But like what I notice is, especially certain like subgenres, you go listen to some soul music or some lo-fi or something, like it'd be a whole lot of like-minded people. And I guess that's what the algorithm does. It puts you with your type of people. But you know, some of them, they be like virtual bus stops. Like everybody just be like, yo, have a good day. Yo, I'm smoking a joint. Yo, this lyric is so crazy. Yo, can't believe he said that or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you enjoying the shit together. So it's like a weird ass camaraderie, like a virtual communication thing that happens. But you know, the internet just be moving. So I was looking at the comments and everybody's like, Kendrick dropped back to back on one day. And I'm like, okay, is it a 3-pack like it was before? And I'm like, nah, the way they talking about it, it seems like a full project. So I rushed to Spotify. And GNX is the name. The weird thing is the whole album is only like 45 minutes long, but it doesn't feel that way. Every song has depth, every song has content, every song is full of really potent lyrics, really relevant lyrics, current lyrics to what's going on right now. So I'm gonna just go through the track list. Well, first, I guess I'll just give more of an overview of the album, and then I'll just go through the track list and kind of give my thoughts on the individual jams that stuck out to me. Overall, the album is real conscious, real potent, sticking to Kendrick's legacy. It fits, it's on brand, but it's current. Like Kendrick is bringing new flows. He's staying current. He's innovating. You know what I'm saying? He's staying in the mix of what's going on right now. He also, I don't know why he didn't do this. People are not crediting their features. He got some new West Coast artists on the project that I had never heard of. Y'all tap in with me if you're from Cali and let me know if these are like active folks out there that's been going crazy. But I haven't caught up. There's a guy on here, I think his name is Peso, but the only way you know who these people's names are is because there's a record where Kendrick's like, tell him Kendrick did it, and he has all the features do the same thing and kind of run down whatever version of their name they wanted to say in the cadence. But like, my name QuestionATL, I might not say the ATL every time I rap, but when you talk about me, you gotta say the ATL. So it's like, I don't know who these people are, bro. Y'all gotta credit y'all features. I know if it's Jay-Z or like Ye or Wayne or Gucci, T.I., like somebody hella known, like a household name, that'd be fire because it's a secret. You don't really understand the level of the song until you play it and that person pop up and you be like, damn, like that's wild. I didn't even know they had a verse from this person, or I didn't even know this person linked with them. Corday could have did that, but again, I like the fact that he showed the features, because like some people might not know who it is. There's people in this world that are getting exposed to hip hop for the first time by these projects and getting exposed to artists for the first time. So it's like, it's better if you have the full listing, and like on apps like Spotify, you could just go right to that artist's name and go tap into their work and deep dive and like get to know the person. So as a promo thing, you want to have that there. Even before I like dive into an album, it's dope sometimes to scroll and just be like, oh, okay, like they got this person on here, they got this person on here. It gets you hype for the album. So with all that bullshit aside, let's go through the album. Just talk some shit about it. Whacked out murals. This one, I guess like Kendrick had a mural in the city and somebody came and X'd it out or got rid of it in some shit. And he's saying like, yo, I'm a legend. Like I have legacy here. There's no way you could ever whack my name out of here. Like you cannot get rid of my name. You can't put no smut on my name. And he's also kind of in this one giving some gems to artists that are coming up or to anybody that's in his position. Like, hey, watch what they say. A lot of people say it's love, but they might just be trying to get something from you or whatever. And that's hella true. Hella true. But I gotta remind y'all, man, there are really people out here that fucking show love as well. Like, don't be getting hella cold-hearted on everybody around you, man. Like, it's people out here that will do good by you, but you gotta stay vigilant, man. Stay on your P's and Q's. Stay on your pivot and just be discerning, man. Always be learning. Always be focusing. Don't take people just at their word, but if somebody show you they cool, you gotta trust it. Cause I tell you, I was in a space for a minute where I wasn't trusting jack shit, and that shit don't get you nowhere, dog, for real. So it's a balance. Life is a balance. Squabble up. This is one, if you are a hip hop nerd, a hip hop fan, a hip hop fucking guru like me, you probably caught this one on the beginning of the Not Like Us video. I'm almost certain that this was the snippet that I seen. I haven't gone back and verified because I'm like 98% certain that I heard this shit on the video. And this feels like a single to me. This record feels like another club banger. It feels like one that you're gonna hear, people dancing to, doing memes to, TikToks to, all that type of shit. It's fire, it's dope. He's really just talking his shit on this record. Like he's letting people know again where he is and that he's not letting nobody try to take his position. He's staying where he's at right now, at the top. Now this, I'm really curious what the fans and what everybody in the game feel about Luther, because this one is kind of like some of the tracks with Blast off of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Like some of these records like Luther, Kenny don't really be tapped into the melodic side like that. So this feels kind of weird to me. This one feels a little off. Like it doesn't connect as strongly. Like Kendrick singing is always kind of weird to me, like his tones he chooses to use and some of the cadences, but like I don't know, maybe that's the point. You know, Kendrick used to use that same type of like Andre 3000 pitched up voice and shit, which like that works. Like, bitch, don't kill my vibe. That came across the right way. I think that's how you could like package weird and brand weird in a way that everybody could understand. But like when you go too far into that bag, it gets like eccentric and it's like, yeah, this definitely is an album track. Like, I mean, if that's what he want to do as an artist, respect, because once you get to a certain level, you almost lose your choice of being super creative because you're such a business. It seems like people expect something from you. Like if Jay-Z came out trying to use hella auto-tune right now, I think people would laugh because he made DOA. It's weird. Like you in a box in a way, but like you have to carve your niche out in the game. You have to find your sound. Man of the Garden. This record is dope. This is a deep record. More boastful shit, but it's boastful in a very conscious way. He's like, yo, I deserve the houses, I deserve the accolades, I deserve the money, I deserve it all. Basically, like every 4 bars or so, he's saying, I deserve it all, and naming every fucking thing, and basically saying like, yo, I'm a god in this shit. Like, I've done everything, and I want everything that heaven will allow. But then he kind of flips it and has a conversation with God, and God is kind of telling him truths about himself, saying like, yo, you really think you this peaceful person, but you love war. I don't know. It's a dope ass approach. A lot of talk about religion in a very approachable way, in my opinion. Like, it's not very preachy. It's not heavy, but he's approaching the concept of God and approaching the concept of finding God and talking to God and finding yourself in a very Kendrick way. Like, this is really on brand. Hey Now, I think this is one of the first records that has a hidden feature. This feels like a Mustard produced record. But I don't know. I need to look. I need to go check credits on everything. I'm like previewing the records right now in my ear. Yeah, the beat on Hey Now is crazy. This beat is insane. It's like drums for the whole first half of the beat. There's like no melodies, just drums and this crazy knocking ass 808 with some 808 rolls every now and then that just keep you kind of listening, keep you focused on your toes. And then halfway through, these melodies come in and just spread the whole beat out. Like there's extra bass, hella synths. Real Cali, like this whole album is super Cali, super faster vibes. I don't know what's the subgenre that people would call this, because I wouldn't say it's hyphy. Like that's probably old school as fuck. You know what I mean? I don't even know if niggas is making hyphy music no more, but it's reminiscent of that though. It has that energy, make you move around a lot. You know, it's a lot of the shit that Mustard popularized. It's a lot of his sound that goes into this, but I'm sure there's mad other producers holding it down. Reincarnated is crazy. If I'm not mistaken, I think Tupac had a song of the same name, and Kendrick on this song basically speaks from the spirit of different people. So the first verse is basically talking about, yo, he's a dude who left his dad home hella fast because he was living wild and fell in love with music and started playing guitar. My take was that he was talking about Jimi Hendrix, but I could have been wrong. And in the second verse, he's speaking as a lady who was in the game and died to like heroin addiction and everything, but was like hella powerful as a singer, great singer. I don't know who the fuck that was, honestly, so somebody gotta educate me. But the third verse, he like confronts himself and he's like, yo, I understand why my dad had to kick me out now. This, you know what I'm saying? I was living hella reckless. So, and then it's like, what he's actually saying is it's crazy because I just put 2 and 2 together when I thought about the last line about his dad kicking him out of the house, because he says, I rewrote the devil's story so we could like talk about God or see what God is, something like that. So he's saying, you know, God threw him out of heaven. God threw him to earth. And he also was speaking on that like phrase or that little piece of consciousness in Man of the Garden. So a lot of talk, you know what I'm saying, real relating to religion right now. Keeping the awareness, like it's not really so much telling people what they should do, but him confronting his own religion, him confronting his own concepts and just laying that out for the world to see. So that's a real fire way to approach it, in my opinion. TV Off, this the first one I heard. This shit is like a double record. There's like a beat switch halfway through. This one for sure is produced by Mustard. The second beat is. The first beat could not be. I don't know, like he not using his tag all the time or what's the deal, but the tag is defo in the second part. And then Kendrick made sure to fucking shout him out in a big way. So you're gonna hear everybody screaming Mustard. I ain't finna do that shit right now, but I'll probably be at the club doing that shit. I ain't gonna lie. This one's a vibe. This shit amps you up. More of that like high energy, Cali excellence. Dodger Blue, I do not remember this. Hold on, let me get the preview going on. Oh, okay. This one right here, Kendrick has hella bars on Dodger Blue, but it's the melodic approach that is just so weird as fuck to me. Like, maybe this is one that you grow with. There is times like I've heard people say like, yo, you really got to just sit with a record, take it in. The lyrics are actually complemented by this melodic approach once you sit with it and understand it. But I just don't know. Like, I got the type of instinct where like I know a hit when I hear it for the first time. I know what I like when I hear it. Like I'm the type of artist where I know what beats I'm a rap on the first time I ever hear them. I know which ones are really gonna be fire jams and my favorite jams. It doesn't take me like sitting and growing with shit. Now there is like I might have heard a beat and then my ear adjusts. So like maybe I have to grow. You know what I'm saying? You go and you listen to more music. Maybe it takes you not having been exposed to what this person might have been inspired by. So you got to go and do some more living, and then you come back and you might, I've listened to beats from 2 years ago and be like, yeah, I swear I heard this. So it's like, I guess both happen, but you have to be at like a different experience or a different point in your life, I think, before the music sounds different to you. I don't really think you could play a song one day and then the next day you hear it and you like feel differently about it. But there's this guy, I don't know his last name off the top of my head, but he's like a fucking crazy like powerhouse in the industry right now. Noah from Idea Generation. I was watching like a long ass interview with him about like his journey and trying to just I glean information from a lot of these executives. I watch a lot of shit about how they network and how they move and just try to figure out what I can apply to my career and like who I might need to know. You start learning people names, you start learning like tactics, you know what I'm saying? If you want to do something, you got to study it, like really just spend time learning every facet and just fucking go all in. The hell was I just saying though? I do not know. So I'm about to just get back to the album. Yeah, this track, okay, it has to grow on me. That's what it is. So yeah, maybe I'll come back in a month and we see how I feel about it, because right now that one is just not it for me. For real. Peekaboo is crazy. This one I know has some hidden features. This is the craziest hook. What they talking about? They ain't talking about none. What they talking about? They ain't talking about none. What they talking about? They ain't talking about none. That's all he says in the hook. But that shit is crazy as fuck. That shit catchy. That shit's about to go. I'm telling you. Now we get Heart Part 6. And I don't know if he named it Heart Part 6 on purpose to like not have it confused with Drake's The Heart Part 6, because I'm pretty sure Drake dropped that. I could be misquoting that, but that's where my brain is at right now. This one is like a story, kind of like a timeline narrative track from back when Kendrick was first starting. The first verse is he's like, yo, we was all in the studio, a lot of Jack in the Box and Pepsis, and I'm just over here writing. He said he studied Ab-Soul. One of the dopest things I heard him say, being humble as he does, is that like he studied Ab-Soul's whole style of rapping in order for him to make his way and for him to find his own unique path in the game. And that's something that every artist has to do. Like, we all have inspirations. Nothing is truly original. Like, everything, there's always a new spark, and that's the key, is finding a way to incorporate what you like in a new way that nobody has done. But it's really all like combinations. Like, the secret to this game is it's like ideas. There's new ideas that come about eventually. Like, nobody was probably thinking about AI in 1937. But now that you have AI, you incorporate all the older ideas with AI, and that makes new shit that hasn't been experienced before. That's what you have to try to do, especially in your field. Like, you might not be able to do it for everything, but the goal, like, in life is to be creative and try to be ahead of what's going on more than most people might be, so that you can present it to them in a way, put people on the shit, invent shit, bring shit to people. You know what I'm saying? That's the best position to be in. The other verses, the second verse, he's like kind of talking about when J-Rock first was getting signed and J-Rock was in the spotlight. And that's crazy. I always used to wonder if that was the same J-Rock, because my cousin was a fan of J-Rock in like 2008 or 9 and put me on. So I knew about him way before I knew about Kendrick, but then J-Rock kind of like fell back. Like, I don't know what his situation was or what happened, but you stopped seeing as much of his music. And then Kendrick comes out, And then you see that J-Rock is like always with Kendrick and around Kendrick, and then he's telling the stories. So they've always been homies, you know what I'm saying? Kendrick was kind of under them back in the day. And it's just, you know, you never know who's going to be the one to blow up the biggest. So he's just really giving thanks to everybody in his life and in his camp. Talks about Black Hippie on this song and why he thought that didn't work, you know, kind of taking accountability for that. So just a lot of information, a lot of like personal anecdotes and shit like that on this song. So as a Kendrick fan, it's definitely one I appreciate it a lot, because I like when artists go into that type of mode, like retrospective, and let you know where they might have been or what it might have been like in certain moments, like where you might have already been a fan, you know, you might think a certain way of somebody and you have no idea what they dealing with or what it took for them to make that favorite song. GNX, the title track, the record of the album. This one does have a lot of the features of the album on it, and this is when they all kind of list. It's like a posse cut, you know, everybody kind of listen their names. The beat on this is hella different. It's cold though. Crazy 808 movement. The hi-hats kind of moving around in a different way. So it's innovative, you know, it's something a little different. I like hearing that. And then you get Gloria. This one is interesting. The whole time on this last track, it kind of seemed like he's talking about like three different things. It's almost like he's talking about like a family member or a girl that he's with. But then at the end, he's like, yo, like honestly, my bitch has been my pen. So that's also something you can hear in the thread of the song. Like he talking about the music that's been with him forever. But it's also like there's certain things that he say that are very much about like a girl or about a relationship with somebody. So, you know, often as artists, we might write a song and on the surface it's about one thing, but then there's like some personal messages to people we know in there. It might be like, you know, extra shit in the record. Okay, a great example. I was just doing a show playing like classic hip hop, and you got P-Rock and CL Smooth. They reminisce over you. Today, I just caught in my fucking brain, one of the last lines in the last verse. He's like, yo, check the spelling of this song. It's an ode to you. And it spells out Troy. If you follow the story of the record, you can hear him talk about his family and when he was born and the things he go through. And just like, I think that's crazy. You don't really know the full meaning of a song the first time you hear it. So I guess that's another way that shit can grow on you. The Tyler album, that's another album that might be up for album of the year. It might be. I don't know. The beats are real unique. Like Tyler has his real specific sound. I think Tyler could benefit from having some commercial production on his projects. Like I want to see Tyler on a Metro Boomin beat, you know what I'm saying? I want to see Tyler on an Energy beat, or you know what I'm saying, one of these newer guys, like even like a Cash Cobain beat would be crazy to see Tyler just sort of put his sound with the mainstream sound. Tyler's sound is fire, but like especially when he worked with, you know, Sexy Red and Wayne and that type of shit, I think them type of records might do better or might have a bigger audience if he had more like approachable beats. Cause like I fuck with all the musicianship shit. Like I fuck with the weird eclectic synths and all the chords and everything like that. But for that to be the mainstay of the album can be overwhelming, I think, to like an average listener sometime. And that might be why he's not more in the conversation. Like I think Tyler though, he's growing into what might be like the modern day Ye, to be honest. Like I feel like Tyler is the Ye of a certain generation. And then low key, that might be me in the next, you know, couple years. No cap. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm just letting y'all know. You know, y'all the early ones. Y'all already been rocking with me for a minute, so you understand. And I appreciate that. I'm looking for the album right now. I'm finna bring up this latest album. Chromacopia or Cornucopia or Corn fucking Popcorn, whatever the fuck this album is called. Nah, I don't know what this title means, honestly, but it's fire as fuck. Lot of story on this album. Saint Chroma, this really is just like it's a palette for your ears. You know, Tyler is always coming with the intros, so he's got Daniel Caesar, you know, putting some nice vocals on here. He got his mom all throughout the album as well. I think that's his mom. I'm pretty sure that's his mom. So there's like all these skits from her, you know what I'm saying, the whole time just punctuating the album, giving Tyler advice, letting him know certain shit not to do or to do. Tribal vocals in the background, these like low grunts, chants and shit. And then Tyler comes in with the whisper flow, some yin yang twin shit. He's like half growling, half whispering. Honestly, this beat kind of remind me of Can't Hold Us from Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. Big up Ryan Lewis. He had crazy, unique production too. I wish I would have heard more from him. Noid is fire. Noid is crazy. It kind of starts with like this 70s type vibe. Like the whole jam is like, it's got these dope processed live drums, real distorted bass in the back. It feels late 70s, 80s. Tyler's like half singing, half kind of chanting. Like it's real easy. It's easy vibes. But the song, I would play it on YouTube, but they'll probably end the stream. So I'm just listening to it on Spotify to myself. But y'all can go listen to it if you haven't. I encourage you. But yeah, the jam, what's the word for that? Like, it's got like opposite vibes. Like the music is really happy, really calm, kind of funky in a way. But the record, the lyrics themselves are all about Tyler being stressed out about the people around him checking his locks on his doors a whole lot of times because he's in the crib by himself. Like, kind of just the fears that come with fame and like the psychology behind how you feel being famous and not really trusting people, not trusting nobody around you, being paranoid of what somebody might do or say. So he's kind of illustrating that with the ad libs. He's got like a lot of wild like screaming in the background, different guest vocals. So it's a real audio picture. This song is full, like it's a full palette, and you get that a lot with Tyler's production. It's not just one vocal over a loop beat. The song's gonna change up. It's probably gonna have some different chord progressions. You know, I was just saying today, I heard like an old jam, and like nobody really uses breakdowns no more. People don't say breakdown. They don't put like guitar solos. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of instrumentation like there used to be in mainstream music. We need that era to come back. Like shit is so short right now. I guess there's no room for it. Like most jams are like a minute and a half. So where do you put a guitar solo in a song like that? But we gotta stretch shit out a little bit more, man. Like let the musicians breathe. They trying to kill everything with AI. It's crazy. Probably one of the heaviest songs on the album and probably one of the best ones too. One of my favorites actually because it's done really well. It's called Hey Jane. This song is Tyler talking about when he found out that he might be having a kid. And his perspective, the girl's perspective. I was like, is there a third perspective? I really don't remember. I need to listen to this album again. But basically, he's given the whole situation, like every angle of the situation, and saying like, yo, this is how I first felt. This is all the thoughts that were going through my head. A lot of conflict. Like, he doesn't feel like he's ready to raise a kid. He still feels like he's moving around the world. He rushed into it in a way because it definitely wasn't planned from his perspective. So he's like, yo, I don't want to force you into anything. Like, obviously, this is your choice, but at the same time, I'm not ready for this. I don't, you know, it's a heavy jam, but it's real life. Like, this type of shit happens all the time. So the second verse, he's, you know, talking from the girl's perspective and saying like, yo, she's getting a little older. Like, this is a good time for her because she don't know how often this may happen or how, you know, when this would happen again for her. And, you know, she thinking she want to make the right decision, but she also doesn't want to let like her family down or people down. So she's trying to figure out the best way to move. And her main concern is that she want to make sure that they still stay in contact, that they still stay chill. So it's interesting because at the end of both verses, he's like, no pressure. So it shows you that everybody's kind of in a difficult spot trying to make the right decision. Following that up, you know, this is like really a 3-song concept right here because the next record is called I Killed You. This is a complex jam. This album covers a lot. One of the heaviest albums that we probably got in hip hop this year. Judge Judy. This song is really cleverly named first. I think it's hilarious. He's talking about a girl named Judy actually in the record, talking about a situation that they had together and how she was saying like, yo, just don't judge Judy. Like whatever's going on, just keep shit honest, keep shit real. Don't judge. And I don't want to ruin the story. The story is dope as fuck. I ain't gonna take you through the whole thing. You know, this one especially is one that's best heard, you know, through all the way without spoilers. Sticky. Now this one is a huge one. Tyler actually credited his features, which I'm thankful for. Glorilla, Sexy Red, and Wayne, which I was like kind of surprised to see Wayne in that mix. Like, the record makes a lot of sense actually. Like, it surprisingly really works well, But when I saw that feature lineup, I was like, what the fuck is this about to be? This is a very traditionally produced Tyler beat, in my opinion. Like, you can tell it's Tyler the creator. I'm gonna be laughing my ass off if I end up like being wrong and Tyler had nothing to do with this beat, but this feels like him. Even the way the record starts, the way it progresses, everything in this feels like his ideas, his direction. So pretty sure he was at least involved in the production for that. The next one that really stuck out to me actually was the outro. I Hope You Find Home. This one is like a slower record. This one feels like he's about to start singing, and he does somewhat, but like he actually drops rap verses over this. Like it comes in like a R&B record. Like it's like a blues, neo soul type vibe. And I don't know if that's him singing on all the vocals right there or not, because no artist is credited, but there's like a lot of different background vocals and harmonies on this last one. Bit of a build up, you know what I'm saying? Chorus. But then yeah, Tyler actually spits on this one and it works well. Bit of a double time flow. So it's a great closer for the project. Leaves it on a high note. And I defo think y'all gotta go play this for yourselves. That one was probably a little quicker than the Kendrick album because this Kendrick album is just on everybody's mind right now. Appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, if there's a favorite album of yours from this year that I haven't got to yet, then holla at me. I'm surprised Cashy not getting on me like, why you ain't talking about that Chucky, boy? You ain't got to that Chucky yet. I heard Chucky's latest album. I went through and listened to it like a week and a half ago. That is a fire new style that's bubbling up. Like it's crazy where drill and hood trap is going right now. Far, far, far. The production's getting innovated. You know what I'm saying? The flows are crazy as fuck, but like they work in a certain way. Like niggas just be walking on the tracks, saying whatever they want to say. I ain't finna hit the weed right now. I ain't got no weed packed up. I ain't gonna take no time. I'm about to go ahead and get to this other album. I'm gonna do 2 more albums tonight. And then if y'all have ideas for some other albums, we'll do those. This nigga Tyler really got a song called I Killed You. Shouts out to hip hop for that. We be having random ass titles like all the time. Where we going? We gonna go to Maxo Cream. Shouts out Maxo Cream, man. Putting on for Texas in a major way. Personification. The name of Maxo's new album. It just dropped like a week ago. Mo Murder, the first track. This one does stick out to me. The production value on this album is insane. I have not looked into who the fuck is behind this. I think Hit Boy has at least one on here. I don't know how many he has on here, but like the way this entire album was put together is just fucking genius. Maxo has this one lyric that repeats throughout the album. He's saying something like, I'm the Crip John Wick. Something like it's like a couple of songs in the project. He brings back this one chorus a few times, and it's thematically accurate as fuck. Like every jam that it's in, it fits, it makes sense. There's some storytelling on this album, so I'm gonna just go through the track list, tell you what I remember. They got Maxo's voice like hella over processed, like not like super over processed, but it just feels like the compression could have been a little less. It feels like the production is dope as fuck. The mixing is pretty solid everywhere else, but there's just some times where Maxo's voice is like so present, especially as far as the bass goes. I do not know what that would sound like if you played it in a car, but you know, I don't know. Mixes work differently on different speakers too. So yeah, the record starts off like a film. Like you hear this beat kind of speed up as if it was like a record player. And then Maxo comes in singing like low as fuck, like low in his voice, deep as fuck. It sounds like kind of raspy, like kind of crazy, like low-key off, but then when you hear what he's saying, it makes a lot of sense. Like the jam is called Mo Murder, Mo Murder. So he's got like, I think that's a Bone Thugs sample in the back. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's where that's from. And he's just telling a lot of shit from his life. Like it starts off with immediate hood stories. He's like, when little bro out there and don't know how to do nothing right, like I should have been one that's dead. I'm back sipping juice. I ain't been linking with nobody. Screaming murder, murder, Mo Murder. So he's just setting it up from the jump. Like this is the angle we going from. Then you get into the next one for Shit Show, which is like everybody's been saying that shit recently. All my guys from Texas. I don't know. They probably been saying that shit for 20 years, but recently, like I see it everywhere. I feel like I just seen that shit trending somewhere. Maxo capitalizing on that. That's smart. Get a record called for Shit Show. I like the beat on this one too. This beat is like real bouncy, real wavy. Then he's got a jam with Tyler. It's crazy. We just came from the Tyler album. And then Maxo drops this. And also, this record feels like a traditionally Tyler produced beat. Weird production or weird percussion, crazy ass distorted bass in the back, like this weird synth. And then Tyler starts it off. It's kind of fire that Maxo like let Tyler take the lead on this one because it's a far trip from everything else on the album. Like we're in super dark Texas mode, and then Tyler kind of brings us to this experimental like Neptune's influence, like Kanye era. You know what I'm saying? Street Fraternity. This one, it feels like a Mad Lib type beat. Like it's real sample based. You would almost call it like drumless. He's just like rapping over a soul sample that's chopped up. Ill as fuck. It feels real East Coast. Like it feels like some West Side Gun type shit, low key. But that's just showing the versatility of artists, man. Like also, you could be from anywhere and rap on any style of beat if you take the time to know how to approach it. This one is about one of his little homies wanting to become a Crip, going through what it's like in the hood when you see everybody around you gang banging. And so you know, this guy's like 11 years old and he going to people around him telling them, yo, like, make me a part of this, put me down. You know, I want to be what y'all are doing. So they trying to warn him like, oh, yo, you ain't ready for this shit. Like you a little homie. He's trying to prove himself. He going out on missions, you know what I'm saying? Like suspicious activities, doing whatever he feel he have to do to prove himself. So that's just a story about how that goes and how that could happen in the hood in Texas. And then we get into Big Homie. This record is crazy. I think there's a beat switch in this record, if I remember right. I could be wrong, but it's just the transition between Street Fraternity and Big Homie and then how this album develops. This might be where we get one of our first repeated lyrics that pops up throughout the whole rest of the project. And this one is telling a story about when Maxo was younger and when he was kind of dealing with some street shit and him trying to figure out his way in that game and kind of talking about some shit that he had to deal with, going on a couple of missions, getting in some shootouts, and finding out that the person who put him in this shit is not even as serious as he is. So, great listen. This it's like a storyteller record. Like both of these ones are like super storyteller. Like they take you on a journey, which is something that you don't see all the time in mainstream hip hop, especially unfortunately like in trap, like in the South. There's not always that like real hip hop element of a story. Every verse just might be some party vibes or some wartime vibes, some flexing vibes, you know what I'm saying? Like people just kind of talking about whatever reality they have. But it's fine to see, you know, in 2024, Maxo putting out, you know, this album with so much content. Smokey. This is Big X the Plug and Maxo Cream. I've been seeing Big X the Plug everywhere. I feel like he's been on the come up recently. He's been on a crazy run. So it's real smart for him and Maxo to get this collab in and for Maxo to put that on the album. I'm not sure who's been rapping longer. Shout out my guy Southside Oba. He put me on Maxo Cream like 5 years ago or some shit. And I really didn't tap in too heavily until this album. Like I would hear a song here and there. Like there's a record he has with Playboi Carti, produced by somebody in 808. This shit right here, Higher Than Ever. This shit is defo for the clubs, defo for the traps. You know, a high energy song. Rob 49, Skilla Baby. This sounds more like one of their songs, and then Maxo kind of just hopped on it. That's defo like the vibe I get from it, because Rob 49 starts it off. It's in that range of beats that he's been on a lot recently, like this sort of new innovation of trap that he has been sort of known for. Also like the Boss Man D-Lo type wave. It's in that era. It's in that pocket, you know what I'm saying, in that world. So Maxo gets on here though, does his thing. Everybody does their thing on this song. I like this jam. It's like high energy. Drizzy Draco too. More of a drill vibe, honestly. Like Maxo near the end of the project starts to get into a straight drill vibe, just like straight high energy, like heavier records. And I fuck with that shit. It's all a good transition. The order on this project helps it all really flow. To be real too, like this record sounds real similar to like a 3-6 Mafia sound, which has been coming back heavy this year. Ever since the We Don't Trust You project from Metro, like when part 1 came out, like even like that is real reminiscent of an early 3-6 Mafia, like a late 90s trap sound, especially the snares. And I really fuck with them type of snares. I'm glad to see those coming back in. And that's really how trends work. Like nothing is ever truly old or too old to come back. Like a thing might age out of relevance, but then when you see music shift, when you see like the baby of that genre pop up in the next generation or in the next decade, you're usually gonna see a version of certain sounds come back, or people are gonna sample it. They're gonna take the lingo. Like, it's weird. Things go in cycles, and you'll see it if you look long enough, or if you go back through history too. Walk by Faith. This record might be actually one of the heaviest records on this album. It's a song dealing with questioning religion and feeling like you've been in life dealing with so much bullshit, and you've been the one that's having to you've been the one making your own decisions. Like the hook, first he's like, yo, they say walk by faith and not by sight. When Big followed Faith, Tupac fought. Like when Big followed Faith, he got stabbed in the back by Pac. So it's like, yo, you can't just put blind faith into anything. You have to kind of trust your gut, trust your intuition, that type of thing. So it's really an in-depth song, introspective song. I like the fact that they're talking about it from this angle, because it's not outright saying like, yo, God doesn't exist, but it's saying, yo, maybe you need to be more accountable. Maybe you need to be more in charge of your life and focus on taking responsibility for getting what you want. And then you still have room to believe in a higher power. But like, the way I take this is like, yo, faith without works is dead. So if you have faith, like, that's good, but your faith has to propel your belief. Like, you know, if you believe in something, you're going to do everything in your power to go and get it. Like, I believe I'm one of the dopest rappers and musicians in this fucking generation. So I do everything that I can to push my shit forward at every chance that I get. So, you know, it's a tough balance that you walk, and everybody has a different approach to faith too. Like, I don't think no two people's idea of God is alike. Drop Top Impala, we getting to the end of the album. This is another one that's like showing love to the politics, because he got Zero on this one, who's like one of the hugest artists in Texas, a legend in Texas. Like, his status is unshakable as far as I'm aware, you know what I mean? So another big connect, you know, a nice link up to see, I would say, different generations coming together on this one, because I feel like Maxo's a little younger. I could be wrong on that, you know what I'm saying? My Texas natives, show love in the comments, let me know what's the deal, but that's my perspective on this record. That's my view of it. That's how I see it. Bibles and Rifles. Again, that juxtaposition coming from Maxo, and the beat on this one is so smooth. Very like new style drill beat, innovative drill beat. This one actually reminds me of some Cash Cobain shit. I wouldn't be surprised if he produced it. And Maxo kept his normal type flow. You would think that he might try to go for like a drill flow on this, or approach it the way somebody else has been doing these records, but I think it's dope. Like, he found a way to make his own pocket fit on these new drill beats. And it sounds real consistent. The content is there. You know, it's another record just talking about what he's facing in his life and his own angle, how he has to confront shit. But I really fuck with this record. This is probably one of my favorite records off the album, just cause it's drill. And y'all know how deep I've been in the drill for like the past 5 years or maybe more. Drill EP on the way, by the way. It's long overdue. Like, I should have been dropped that shit, but really, the longer I go, the more I hone my sound. So it's good. Like, I ain't even tripping off not dropping too early, cause I done got better and better and better. And I'm only gonna get better and better and better. So, you know how that go. Talking His Crew, featuring that Mexican OT. This is a record that dropped, I think, as a single, like ahead of the project, because I heard this one a few months ago. I really like this record. I have it on a couple of my playlists. I smoked to this one. You know, this is like one you play riding around, or just like at the crib. Definitely a slower record, but it's definitely like, it's riding. You know, you put this in the car, it's going smack, bang a bus. Another drill record. I forgot about this one. This one is kind of in the same pocket as Bibles and Rifles. It's like a slower, melodic type beat, but Maxo is just doing his thing, talking his shit on this one. The chops on this beat are actually fire as hell. I like how, you know, the intro starts out and shows you kind of what the sample is, but then it goes into this like rhythmic chop that follows, that the drums kind of follow. Like, it's hard to explain, but if you're a producer and you hear it, you know what I mean. Fire to see drill in this space, and the samples that are being used. It's weird. It's not like a normal sample you might expect on a drill beat. Trigger Man with Denzel Curry. This one I think might be the one Hit Boy produced. They got like a classic vocal sample in the back. Again, this feels really reminiscent of 3 6 Mafia late 90s, evil, kind of wicked vibes. So this is actually the last track on the album. And Maxo is on some weird shit because on the intro, he was like, yo, when you start getting this type of money, they feel like you in the Illuminati. And then on this song, on the outro, he's like, yo, I got a secret that I ain't told nobody. I think the Illuminati trying to get me or some shit. So it's like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what you talking about? What you dealing with? And the fact that those kind of bookend the album is a weird little conspiracy, we'll say. You know, you never know what could be behind that or what the fuck is going on. I don't know how deep that rabbit hole goes, but that's a different YouTube channel. That's not what we doing over here. As soon as I heard this, I had to pass it to my guy 12C because, you know, he's like the biggest star out of Texas in our blind community, you know what I'm saying, as far as hip hop goes. And we've been working on a lot of music this year, you know, big up my brother. It's crazy as fuck to have him, you know, be in BNF with us and support what I got going on, because I grew up watching the 12C, man. Like, real talk, like I used to watch his battles with my brother. He's a person that showed me that it was possible for a blind person to actually do this shit, like at a professional level. It's a concept, like when you see something a lot of times, it create a pathway in your brain and it shows you more of that thing in your life because you can only focus on things that you're aware of. It'd be a lot of shit going on around us that we might not even really focus on or pay attention to on a deep level because we don't choose to, because we haven't been taught that that thing is important. So if you have people in your life that show you throughout your life, like, yo, you can make this happen, you could be famous, or if you have icons that you could look at, people that look like you know what I'm saying, or are like you, then you start to really believe seriously, like, yeah, like I'm doing the right thing, I'm making this happen. This person is already doing that. And so of course I can do it. Like, why would I think I couldn't? I see somebody right in front of me showing me that I can do it, but I want to do it better. I want to do it this way. I want to do it my way. So, you know, and I look at a lot of celebrities like that. I look at celebrities and I'm like, yeah, like, okay, of course, like the thing you got to realize is we all people, like everybody is just a person. So if they can have success, if they can have this type of money, you know what I'm saying, there's no reason you can't find a way to make shit happen for yourself. It's just a matter of putting in intentional focus and work. Like, you have to work at it every day. You have to be smart about where you put your energy and your time at. You can't do nothing that doesn't work for you. If it doesn't benefit your goals, fuck that shit, for real. Like, you cannot waste time on anything for anybody. Now, if you have a job, you know, you got to have a means to an end. You know what I'm saying? If you have to stack your bread up, if you have to, you know, maybe you hella young, something to be aware of. Focus on financial literacy, for real. Like, make sure you put in your money in good places. You know what I'm saying? Build up a little saving. Keep some money where if you see something that you want to do for your career, for yourself, whatever, you know, you can make that happen. You can start learning how to invest. Invest in yourself. Invest in real estate. Invest in stocks if you know what you're doing. Always make sure you go with what you know. You know, that's what Warren Buffett say. So stay focused. And you have a parent that doesn't support your dreams, and you have to, like, you know, you still gotta find a way to balance everything. You gotta, yeah, I could talk for a long ass time about that shit, but let me just pull up this Corday album real quick. But yeah, you gotta just stick to your goals, man. Just stick to your hustle. Keep grinding. Anything that you want, you can have it. You know what I mean? Like, I been thinking about doing a podcast for a long ass time. And then in the last month, my artistry just been going crazy. Like, ChatGPT know a nigga now. I got fans in like damn near every state. I've been booked, you know, to present at different places as a professional rapper. Like, they looking at me as nothing but what I am, the rising star, QuestionATL. So now, for me, it's just about pushing that shit bigger, 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 every way that I can. But yeah, big up y'all, man. Big up everybody who's been through the stream, tuning in, man. Whether you left for chat or you was just shy and didn't want to say hi. All right, man. The Crossroads. This is also one of my favorite albums this year. This album is really reminiscent. Reminds me a lot of the first early era of Kanye, like the college dropout era, because the true fans know about the go getters and motherfucking all the shit he was doing before he actually, all the D Dot Ghost production and shit. I'm not talking about that. That era is fire. We'll leave that to the Redditors and the YouTubers who really be out there studying. But I feel like Cordae is a Kanye fan. This album is like strongly reminiscent of that college dropout, honest, genuine lifestyle, like just kind of speaking about your come up, telling stories about childhood type of shit. Intro is crazy on this. It starts with just like some real nice harmonies, vocals like R&B, just ooze, man. With like some effects and processing on it. And then because the jam is called Crossroads, it comes in with the Bone Thugs sample. These albums are connected in weird ways because I'm pretty sure the Maxo album had a Bone Thugs sample, and now this album does. And the album before that was Tyler, and then Tyler was on Maxo's album. So it's all threaded together, and I did not plan that, but there you go. So yeah, Crossroads from Bone. He's just kind of having like this nice melodic instrumentation behind it. And then we get into '06 Dreamin', and this jam is fire as hell. This is like a storytelling jam about kind of his childhood and his mom actually being talented in music. I wonder if that was his mom on the vocals on the intro. Also on this song, I think there's some background harmonies and R&B vocals. So I wonder if that's her. I hope it is. That's fire. And I also hope that he found a way to give her songwriting credit, because like, this record talks about she had like an American Idol audition, and so he was like so sure that his entire life was about to change, and when she didn't actually get picked for the show, he had to kind of come to realizations that wasn't the case. And it talks about like the beginnings of his career and him getting inspired to actually chase rap full time. So it's just dope. It's like, one of those childhood nostalgia here to now kind of moments. And that works always if you can do it with like a genuine connection. And like, again, if you're a fan of that person, I feel like you cheer for them even more. You're connected to it even more because you want to see that person win. You want to see them go as far as they can and take it wherever they can take it. So when they let you in, and this is kind of a note to myself too, like, you got to show the tough moments, you know what I mean? Because people will look at that and be like, yo, like, you made it so fucking far. Like, look at this shit now. And it's weird because things don't feel different gradually. Like, you'll look up and realize some shit different. You'll look up and be like, yo, like, I've actually had my shit viewed by over 200,000 people in the world. And like, you don't notice that until you see it somewhere and you be like, bruh, this shit is crazy. So yeah, the album's starting heavy, like heavy in a powerful way, because the next jam is Back on the Road with Wayne. And this one, Wayne sounds great on this record. Like, he is showing up in top form. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still delivering insane verses. This beat, it's like really in a trap sort of pocket trap. I don't know what the exact word is. Style, I guess we'll say. Real trap influenced, but Defo still has like some hip hop drums. Like, it feels like a Boy Wonder-ish type of beat. I doubt it is, but it could be. Another feature, he's like heavy with the features right in a row. Summer Drop with Anderson .Paak. I be saying his name both ways. Like, some people say Pac, some people say Pac. I think it's Pac because like him being from Cali, I feel like it's in the lineage of Tupac. West Side. I don't know. You can tell me what you say, cause I don't fucking know. This one is another like reminiscent song, nostalgia song. Is my computer still awake? Yeah, okay. I was over there looking at my screen because I don't know what the fuck happened to the stream if this shit like goes down. Or I don't know if it actually would since I'm streaming, but I know I've been talking shit for multiple minutes. You know what I mean? Summer Drop is all about like what would happen when these guys used to be, in the summer, like what songs they was listening to, where they were at, what they were doing. Cordae talks about like sweeping hair and shit, working in different places and kind of keeping his head down, waiting on the music to manifest. And then we get into Nothing's Promised. This shit is so cold. It's a remake or kind of a cover interpolation of Heard 'Em Say from Ye. And this is the late registration album I think that was on. So not necessarily College Dropout, but just like that early Ye era, that early 2000s era is what this album feels like to me. But in a very updated, innovated way. It's insane. And then really inspiring, honestly. Like, as an artist in the space, like, this style goes away for a few years at a time, and you have a lot of shit like Rob 49. You have a lot of shit like RNC Mike. You have Yachty. You have Juice World. You have Thug. You have just a lot of different sounds that don't really take after this traditional hip hop style. And I think people should stop calling it old school, because I mean it is old school. It's the first one, but it's the traditional one. Like, this is, in a way, I feel like these are all branches of the tree that hip hop came from. And so is Yachty, so is Rob 49. I ain't taking nothing away from them guys and saying they're not hip hop, but this style has to be preserved. You have to have top artists of the generation like Cole and Kendrick who keep this modern hip hop alive, and Tyler. Yachty's one of our actual GOATs, especially in the city of Atlanta right now. He has one of the most innovative sounds, brands. He's been leading the Creep Boys, the Concrete Collective forward recently, despite the Caribou situation. Yachty is defo hip hop. Yachty is for sure hip hop. He even got on that shit with J. Cole, and I feel like Cole definitely took the lead, but Yachty, it sounded comfortable there. It sounded technically fire to me. There was a discussion on Joe's podcast talking about like what tier would Tyler the Creator be at, and that's an interesting conversation because the metric of how you measure that has changed so much, and I think it still hasn't finished shifting to like what this generation defines as like a superstar rapper, because the landscape of media is so different. Like, it used to be TV, radio, and film. Now TV is kind of going out. I think radio, they both are like on the way, but they're kicking. They are pressing the brakes. TV and radio, I don't know if it's like the industry or if it's the fans, but they sticking around. I'm actually surprised. I think radio might be going a little bit faster than TV. But then that's discounted by people driving in a car. It's a lot of people who still just take the convenience of radio, and they be like, yeah, I'm gonna just play whatever's on. Like, they don't want to make choices. Like, me being a musician, I take a lot of pride in curating what I listen to in a lot of my life. But like TV, you still got a lot of people who have their favorite shows. But then even that, now you got like YouTube TV and Netflix and this and that. So it's not about who has the most poppin' music video. It's not about who's just in music or in movies or has the most songs dominating the radio charts. Like, sure, you have like this thing with TikTok now, where you can kind of like, radio tends to follow what's trending. You look at what's going up on the gram, what's being used behind the most people's posts as a sound. You look at what song people are clipping the most. Like, so that has changed the way that you define what a superstar is. So it's like hard to say, beyond somebody as big as a Drake or a Kendrick, like, okay, these people are at the same spot. I guess you could use like monthly listeners and stats and shit, but y'all know labels inflate that. Like, it's common knowledge to even fans now that a lot of those views and shit don't usually accurately represent what the fuck is going on, which is a little bit annoying as an artist when you're trying to see like what your competition is doing so you can accurately strategize. Anyways, I just talked for the entirety of that song. It was just playing in my ear the whole time. It was vibes, but this one is mad as fuck. This is probably one of my least favorite on the album. There's certain styles, I think, with every artist, and it probably happens with me too. I would be curious what my fans would point to as this style, but like, there's certain styles that artists will do when they're versatile, and everyone just doesn't feel as comfortable for them. It's the same thing that we're talking about with like the nasally sort of approach that you hear Kendrick take with some of his melodic music. This feels like Cordae trying to fit more into that trap era, like a Rob 49 or like the newer guys, that different sound that's going on The beat is fire. The song like overall is cool. There's bars in here, but the cadence just doesn't feel very comfortable to Cordae, in my opinion. All Alone. Let me think about this one for a second. This is a Venton jam from what I remember. The sampling on this album is immaculate. Like another album with insane production value. Like on Heard 'Em Say, I didn't say too much about the beat on there. So I have to go back. Like as a producer, I would be doing everybody, myself, an injustice not to fucking give my take on that. Like there's a live piano that I'm pretty sure was like played in a recording, and then they sampled that as like one of the main backdrops of the beat. And then the way the drums wrap around it is just like perfectly done. And this producer has a lot of credits on this album. I've heard his tag a couple times, so I'm gonna look into him and really look into his work. I fuck with that. This one though, All Alone, there's a vocal sample that seems like it's been sped up. It's a soul sample, but the pitch is kept the same. So it gives like a similar vibe to like the way the Chipmunk vocals used to be, with like the real fast vibrato on the voice, but you can still kind of tell the character or the vibe of the person singing, in my opinion. So that's fire. And then you have drums that are like slightly processed. It sounds like there are some sample drums in there, but there's also some use of live drums. Like maybe some live drums were sampled and then the producer just used a certain kit. I'm not exactly sure. I love seeing people go into the process of how we all make our different drums. Let me take a quick look at what's going on over here. If you're still sticking with me right now, I appreciate you, man. We've been in this shit for a minute. It's love, you know what I'm saying? Tapping in with the people real quick. Look like we Gucci. When the fuck did people start saying that? I never see it. This one is one of the best done trap songs on the album, in my opinion. Assisted by Juicy J, one of the kings of 3-6 Mafia, one of the kings of Memphis. You know what I'm saying? Is that even accurate, yo? Are they from Memphis? Somebody tell me, what the fuck is Orange Mound exactly? Is that different from Memphis? Is that in Memphis? I feel like 8 Ball and MJG are from there. I'm not sure if 3-6 is from there. I think 3-6 defo reps Memphis, and then 8 Ball and MJG might rep Orange Mound. So help me out. Make sure I'm accurate in my geographical trivia of hip hop. Maybe that's something I could host, actually. Ideas. This one, a little bit more flex rap, you know, Cordae just letting you know about his life, like where he's at right now. I feel like this album is Cordae putting in his bid to be more of a mainstream rapper. Like this to me feels like Cordae has been working on his craft and really wants to be more taken serious in the hip hop conversation, just in general. Like this feels like he's coming to solidify his spot in a generation as like one of those new conscious types. Pray. This one is featuring Ty Dolla $ign. Big up Ty Dolla $ign. One of the most fire leading vocalists in R&B right now. His approach to melodies and the way he uses Melodyne or auto-tune with his like raspy sound, but still delivers like such complex cadences with his melodies is hella inspiring. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely one of the GOATs of our generation where that's concerned. The next one that sticks out to me, Saturday Mornings. This is another one from Wayne. I really am curious about the extent of Wayne and Cordae's friendship. Like, it's dope to see Wayne on 2 features on such a younger artist's project. Like, Cordae hasn't really done an incredible amount of work in the game yet. Or I'll say, like, an insane amount. Like, he has not had the same output that, like, a Tyler has had or a Kendrick. He's on the come up still. Like, I'm not trying to diss him at all. You know, I fuck with the project. I fuck with his artistry. But I think it's fair to say he has a ways to go as far as like notoriety and recognition. So for Wayne to bless the album that way is a fire stamp of approval. I think that's going to help people start to recognize where Cordae is trying to be at. And I could be wrong. Like, I'm actually really curious. Like, you don't seem to see Cordae like in social media too much, or like, you know, Ye is the type of person that is on some crash out shit, bro. He gonna say wild, polarizing, controversial shit in every interview. He's gonna do things to sort of get the reaction. Cordae just doesn't seem to be that. He seems to be the opposite of that, in my opinion. No Bad News featuring Kanye. Now this is fire as hell to see because as I've said, this is so reminiscent of that early Kanye era on purpose, in my opinion. Like it's clear that he's coming for that spot and trying to like really put himself in that conversation. I feel like I'm repeating myself a little bit, but it's just I'm trying to make the point with the records that I see so that you can go and listen to it and get the narrative as well for yourself. The beat here sounds like it might have even been done by Ye. It might be like a Mad Lib type vibe. It's just super soul chops, man. Lots of strings. Actually starts off with Ye. Like you hear strings come in and then there's a hook from Ye. Weird thing about this hook, it seems like it was a reference and then he went back and punched in a couple of lines. But there's a one line like at the end of the hook that sounds like it might have been overdone by somebody else in Kanye face. Like not blackface, but like trying to sound like Kanye. That is one thing that I'm surprised they didn't use the AI for because there are like some really accurate Kanye AIs, and that's something I've been seeing a lot of YouTubers do. It's like obvious, it's noticeable as shit, and it kind of makes me cringe when I can tell that somebody replaced one of their phrases with AI, but like you don't have time to go back and re-edit like all your phrases. There's people like shout Trap Lord Ross. He be dropping like 4-hour detailed documentaries on different parts of hip hop and different like really specific stories that are going on in different locations. So you don't have time. Like I know how it is to like editing this is gonna take probably twice as long as it did to record it, maybe more, because you have to make sure everything is perfect. And the only way to do that is to sit down for as long as whatever you recorded is, so that you can make sure no piece of it has been unchecked. There's a lot of dedication, but like I love editing. It's something that I do. Like I've edited people's songs before. I mix, master, not to get into too many technical details of that, but you gotta love the process for real. This one's talking about Corday being a new dad, dealing with life around him and trying to kind of turn the world off. Just get away from everything. No bad news today. I don't think Ye has a verse on this, which speaks even more to the fact of this being like, just thinking from an artist's perspective, I wonder if Ye had this as a throwaway or just as an idea. I don't want to say a throwaway because sometimes you start something like with the most like excitement and intention of going back to finish it, but life happens. And then like an opportunity comes up for you to throw it out. Niggas like, yo, I'm working on an album. Send something through. The album is inspired by you. And then you just throw one of your joints out. So the next jam is called Shea Afeni. And this one is a dedication to his newborn daughter. He says he wrote it 2 weeks after she was born. And there's actually like samples of her crying and stuff in the recording, like, or in the song, like voice memos and shit. Very heartfelt song, very genuine song. Dope as hell to see that. Congratulations to Corday, because we watched him grow up through the YBN era, and they were all just kids getting shit out the mud, and now he's becoming a man, going into adulthood, making shit happen, and so he's writing about all the aspects of his life. So, and this is like a deep inside look. Like a lot of artists don't like to write about their children and write about that type of shit. Like he's putting her name out here in the world, and sometimes that happens. Celebrity kids might stay out of the spotlight or whatever, but you tend to hear like they grow up together for real. A lot of celebrities tend to network, chill. Like it just happens that people don't understand fame in the same way that people who have fame might get it. So you chill with people that are like you. Everybody chills with their own tribe to a certain extent. And it's all a balance, you know what I mean? One of the keys to life that I've learned, like through my mom and seeing all the people she knows, is like you have to have a versatile tribe. Like the way you learn about the world, the way you stay involved in things is like to have people that are like you in some ways and different in other ways, like around you. So yeah, this is a deep jam. Shea Afeni. I was gonna record this podcast a week ago, but then the day like flew by and I ended up going out like that night. So that definitely didn't happen. I didn't come back until the next day, and then I slept for like 6 fucking hours. So it's kind of like divinity that it went this way though, because we got the surprise Kendrick drop. So that made this like even better, way better. What really matters and then syrup sandwiches with Joey Badass. Real traditional hip hop. This one is like not really a posse cut, but just them kind of showing off the lyrical, talking they shit, going back and forth. The chop is dope as fuck as well. Like I feel like this sample might be a famous sample. I don't know exactly where it's from, but I think it's something that's been used before. It's like one of those ones that's a fabric of hip hop, you know what I mean? Like it reminds me of Tribe, actually. I've been saying a lot of shit reminds me of Madlib today. Now you know. I think this one is specifically about his grandma, and he's just saying there's like a lot of regret, you know, that he didn't take more time. And so he's saying like if you didn't know how much I needed you and how much I wanted you there and cared about you and shit like that, like now you know. I'm putting it in this song so you can hear it. But you know they talk about that fight with the existence of God, man. So you got to try your best every day to tell these people this type of thing while they still here, because you actually never know if you'll get to see people when they leave Earth. So we all got to try to be a little bit quicker to speak the truth. You know what I mean? Like, say what you feel while you can. Do what you can when you can while you can. I think that's how that quote goes. You feel me? As y'all can see, I just be on a whole lot of like giving random tips out. Tits, not tits. That's good. 2 10s. This one is kind of a funny track. The last one on the album is a bonus with Anderson .Paak. He's just going back and forth with him. Again, this is two of the only people featured on the album, and they both have 2 features. I do feel like Cordae and Anderson .Paak are both like pretty good friends. This track even feels really brotherly. It feels like they both just kind of bullshitting with each other, talking shit, going back and forth about like kind of like talking about girls, but talking about how they both deal with girls and like 2 different perspectives. So they both just sort of trolling each other, you know what I mean? That's the vibe I get from this. So yeah, man, we done made it through a few albums today. Drop a fire in the chat right now if you stuck around the whole time, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you follow me everywhere, man. QuestionATL on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. We are not calling it X, except to say we're not calling it X. But yeah, y'all be easy, man. Stay up. Focus on your goals. Latest.